Today, I'm going to tell you why I think HAAS will be leaving Formula 1 in 2022. Now first, let me remind you a little bit about HAAS F1 team's history. They joined Formula 1 in 2016 as the first All-American F1 team in over 3 decades. Their driver lineup in their rookie season consisted of Romain Grosjean and Esteban Gutierrez. The team did pretty well in their first race in Melbourne, where Romain Grosjean finished P6. And in the constructor standings in the end, they finished P8 out of 11, which was not bad at all. As for the drivers, Grosjean finished P13 in the standings, which is alright considering the circumstances. But Esteban wasn't as lucky as he finished P21 with 0 points. And this resulted in him being fired, so he wasn't going to be around for next season. And then new for 2017, HAAS recruited Kevin Magnussen, who had just left Renault. The team did better than the year prior, finishing in P8 again with quite a few more points. And Grosjean and Magnussen finished in P13 and P14 in the drivers' standings. Not bad. As for 2018, they kept the same driver lineup and they got something right, as they finished P5 in the standings, their best result in the constructors to date. The drivers also did well, I guess. Well, I mean, Kevin did well. He finished P9 in the standings, and Romain finished in P14 again, but it was still a great result for the team. Then 2019 happened, and if you're not sure what happened, I'll let you know. This guy, William Story, the owner of the CEO of the figurehead for Rich Energy, invested in HAAS, and after not following up on their payments and copyright issues and sketchy business transactions, they left the team, which resulted in HAAS with a lot less money. They finished the season in P9, taking a huge step back from the year prior. As for the drivers, K-Mag finished P16 and Grosjean in P18 with only 8 points to their name. Now, if you have enjoyed the video this far, please do consider subscribing. It's free, only takes a few seconds, and you can always unsubscribe later if you want. My goal with this channel is to build the best F1 community there is. So if you want to help me do that, leave a like or share the video with a friend. Thanks. Now let's move on to 2020, which was just adding salt to the wound. With all the Ferrari-powered cars being on the back foot, HAAS did not do so well, finishing P9 again, but with only 3 points. 3 points ahead of Williams with 0, and Alfa Romeo ahead of them with 8 points. And then to add insult to injury, Romain had that horrific crash in Bahrain. I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to use the footage, so I'm just going to create it in keyframes now. Moving on to 2021, the team made it very clear that they weren't focusing on this year at all, but rather they were looking ahead to 2022 in hopes that the new aero regulations will push them up the order. They also recruited 2 rookies, the 2022 F2 champion Mick Schumacher, and then they also recruited the son of a Russian oligarch, Nikita Mazepin, for the financial reasons. Now this is key, as the team now became Uralkali HAAS Formula 1 team. And their livery for the 2021 season was literally just a Russian flag with the HAAS logo on, which I find quite funny. So by them not caring about the 2021 season, they had their worst finish in their entire F1 history. They came last, with one of their drivers finishing 21st, when there's usually only 20 drivers in a season. The one driver, Robert Kubica, who stood in for 2 races, finished ahead of Mazepin in the standings. Now, why will HAAS leave F1? Well, when I mean HAAS, I mean the name HAAS. I think Gene Haas will sell his F1 team to Dmitry Mazepin, and it will probably become something like Uralkali Formula 1 team or Mazepin GP Racing team or something, I don't know. My reasoning is that if you've watched any Drive to Survive, then you know that Gene is always on the phone to Gunther about how bad their performances are. He also always talks about how expensive it is to run a Formula 1 team. So I think he's probably just waiting for these new aerodynamic regulations to change so that he can see if HAAS will perform any better. And if they don't, well, then he'll sell it. Now, if you've watched my 2022 F1 season predictions, spoiler alert, I don't think they will improve, and I think they'll stay at the bottom of the F1 constructors table. So this means that HAAS will be sold to Mazepin, Dmitry Mazepin, or maybe even Nikita. Maybe he wants his son to own the F1 team. I just don't think this team will be able to improve with the likes of Nikita in the car, considering how bad his performances have been this past season. I mean, he spun like 20 million times in Bahrain and about 40 million in Imola. I mean, if you've looked on that website which tracks how many times Nikita Mazepin has spun, it's probably through the roof. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Anyway, with that said, I'd like to thank you for watching. I've been Connor, and I'll see you later. Bye.